Hey, what's up, people?
Tattoos, man. I never got into the tattoo thing.
Yeah.
I don't like voluntary pain. Akira tells me it's not that painful, but I'd rather not find out.
Depends where it's at. Mine's right here. I only have one. Got it when I was 19.
Mm.
It's right here. We're not supposed to have tattoos, the Jewish people. But mine's of my Hebrew name and stuff, which is cool. So I like it's like a
I like it.
somehow it's good. Yeah, it's cool. But I'll tell you, it was right here. It didn't hurt a lot, but it felt like that he had the needle like here. It's really weird that way, the nerves, I guess. But
Yeah, it's definitely a nerve thing.
yeah.
The worst thing I had, well, not worst, but I had both of my ears pierced for a while.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah.
When I got my first corporate job, I took them out. Little did I know that I'd be in the weed business years later. Should have kept them.
Cut your hair and take those damn earrings out.
Well, welcome back, guys. It is your boys Mark and Alex here for episode 11.
Yep.
Which 11 episodes is pretty good for me because it means that I've been consistent for once in my life. But happy to be here again. It is finally fall. It's finally October. I was so sick of the summer.
Yeah, but when it's just at the end of the summer and it's hot every day and it's like
one thing that sucks though is it's at when I leave the shop now it's dark.
Right.
I hate when it's dark out when I leave the shop because it feels like there's no day left, which technically there isn't.
You can always go across the street to daylight.
Yeah. There's no actual daylight at night, but
no.
You'll forget from the weed products. Well, today, folks, we have something that I've been waiting to do for a while. We've talked about classifying cannabis and how to make a choice at the dispensary, and how do you do that? How do you go home with something that's going to put you in the mood you're seeking? Right. Before today, my best advice was trial and error. Right.
Yeah.
Try as many different strains as you can until you find the one that works for you. That's the best I had.
Which is good advice, to be clear.
Well, yeah. The absent of any other options or ways to kind of pick, it was an okay option. Right. But we, as a new budding cannabis society, are developing new tools to make that easier.
Yes, love that.
Yeah. So what am I talking about? There's this company called SC Labs, guys. And SC Labs is just one of the many kind of cannabis testing companies out there. There's a ton of them opening now because every state, that has a legal industry, they obviously want to test the product.
Right.
Make sure that the consumer is going home with something safe. Right.
Oh, yeah. Most products have a QR code you can scan and get lab results and stuff, but this, I haven't seen anything quite like this. Mark was showing me a little bit. This is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's called Phytofacts, guys.
Phyto, Phyto. Phyto.
And I think the etymology on the word phyto has to do with some molecular something. I should have looked that up before we started, but
phyto this, pheno that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Phenotypes.
Yeah.
Right.
Phyto means plant.
I figured that. I just didn't want to say something wrong.
Like photosynthesis, like they say in Australia. Photosynthesis.
I love your voices. So, guys, we are going to go into Phytofacts today. We are going to learn how to read one of their data sheets. The thing about classifying cannabis is there's so much variability in the plant. It's been crossed so many times, without a standard way to kind of classify these things, it just gets out of control. And there's a lot of data that comes out of, a plant, like, grow time, terpenes, THC percentage, cannabinoid percentage.
Cannabinoid makeup.
Right.
Which ones it has,
right.
Which ones it doesn't, the combinations.
Exactly. So with so many variables, it becomes necessary to use computers and algorithms to kind of process this stuff, because only a computer can take all those variables and compare them, contrast them, and come out with a set of data that somebody can make a decision on, right?
Yeah, that we can actually use. That's simple enough.
Right. So that's what Phytofacts from SC Labs is about. It's about taking a chemometric report, which just basically breaks down the plant into its kind of components, and it puts it in a fashion that is easily understood. So
Yep.
to get there, we have to go over some stuff, again, that we've talked about on the show before. And what is that? That is the entourage effect and terpenes themselves, right?
Terps.
You've been hearing a lot about terps lately.
Terps everywhere.
Yeah, and terpenes aren't anything new, guys. Terpenes have been a fact of marijuana for some time, but it's only now that people are starting to really pay attention to the different ones and what they do to your body. So let me see something here.
As it turns out, like I even have learned since doing this podcast and since talking with you and more and more that terpenes and the cannabinoids are really the thing that matters. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No, it's all about the terps and the percentages.
Yep. Because I've been thinking, oh, it's got this, got that. Like you said before, it's trial and error. That's all humans ever really had. You know what I mean? This one's got red hairs. That one's got crystals. Whatever. You know what I mean? This one's purple.
And it's all just observational stuff. You're using your senses, your smell, your sense of taste, your visual sense. That's how we would classify stuff.
Yeah, when it's real skunky, or if it smells like lemon, or if it smells like KB or whatever.
Exactly. So outside of those immediate senses, you still don't really know what's going to happen in terms of when you smoke this. So top 10 terpenes found in cannabis.
Yeah.
Right. There are a lot of these. This is a very small part of them. I want to know who named these damn things.
Right. Who named any of this crap? It's because, like, what are you guys doing here?
Like, how do you say Bisabo?
Oh, I think that's the name of a demon.
It would be perfect.
It summon him.
It would be Bizabolo. That's definitely a fallen angel.
Bizabolo.
And you would Asamine, Humaline, Lena Luel. Like, who the hell named this stuff? It's probably Latin.
I think this one is Ultiman. It's probably like a Native American word.
It's definitely not a Native American word. But so, guys, these are some of the terpenes, and what you're going to want to do to become a smarter consumer is try to learn the effects of these. Right now, the ones I have in blue here: myrcene, limonene, pinene. These are some of the ones that you find a lot of. Also, the caraphyllene is a very noticeable one, and I had a little graph here. So most marijuanas actually got this first one in blue, myrcene, in it, right? And I'd say this being the most common in cannabis, it is the dominant form or terpene in about 40% of marijuana countrywide. Right?
Wow. Okay.
So most of the time you're in the myrcene area. And the myrcene has a couple of different effects.
Okay.
And let's just go to this. So high myrcene cannabis strains, right? And look at these strains in here, guys. OG Kush, Blue Dream, Grape Ape, Granddaddy Purple, Tangy. These are all high myrcene strains here. And
that strikes me as a very indica list, although I've realized and learned that's all in my head.
Well, yeah, because there's sativas in here like Blue Dream.
Is that it? I always thought Blue Dream and Blue this.
Well, myrcene, it tends to be sativa dominant. So as far as, what does that mean for most users? I think it means, energy, kind of focus, things like that. Myrcene is involved in. I probably should have.
Myrcene is also in hops.
There you go.
Thyme, lemongrass, mango, bay leaves.
Yep.
Well, just weed.
Yeah. Everybody's terpenes are in all plants, especially ones that are very pungent or whatever. You find a lot of these. So that being said, that's just one of the many terpenes out there that you want to get familiar with to make better decisions at the dispensary.
Now, can I ask a weird question?
Yeah.
So that myrcene, right? That's in 40%. The presence of myrcene doesn't mean that other ones are missing, right? It's just in different combinations, or
Yeah.
ones are totally not missing, or it can't be present with another one? You see
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
no, they are definitely there's usually more than one terpene in any particular strain. There's just one that's dominant, right? And so the dominant terpene is usually going to drive most of the effects, right? And I actually wanted to read something here. So myrcene actually is less associated with energy and focus and more with sedation,
Okay, yeah.
sleep, and relaxing, which makes sense because most people use cannabis to relax or help them sleep or something like that. So what this means, guys, is that when you go into the dispensary and you're looking for something to help you relax, a myrcene heavy strain is what you're looking for. That's going to give you the main effect you're looking for. Now, if we go back to the list here, limonene is definitely more associated with kind of energy and focus. That I know for sure.
Will get you going.
Yes.
Yeah, like okay, yeah.
Yes. So when you smell something that's bud that has a citrus smell to it,
Yeah.
this is usually the terpene that you're smelling, right? And you can infer from that this one will probably be more on the, happy, active, high kind of, smoke and clean up your house kind of thing.
Pine sol. Oh no, pinene is probably in pine sol.
Yes, no, pinene is definitely in pine. That's I think that's pine's in the name, so it is definitely that kind of piney smell.
Limon.
Right. So you can get a lot of data and make some okay decisions just based on the terpenes in there, but there's more, right?
Oh yeah.
So the entourage effect, which we've talked about before, right?
Yes.
So the entourage effect is the idea that all natural compounds in cannabis like THC, CBD, and terpenes work together to create a combined effect that's stronger or more balanced than any single compound on its own, right? So what we're talking about here is because you're using a product that has these three different factors, right? You got THC molecules, you got CBD molecules, and then you got your terpenes.
Terps.
Together, these all kind of direct your high. And it's going to kind of lend to the experience you're going to have based on all three. So
like
I had
all three together. It's not like it's 1 + 1 + 1.
Right.
It's all three. They
Right.
bring something better than the sum of their parts.
And I have
beautiful, actually.
I have a visual aid.
Oh, nice.
I made a visual aid, guys.
Sweet.
And I was looking for, some artists that weren't in the news. It seems like there's a lot of artists in the news here, but we're going to use Maroon 5 for this example.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
That's all of them, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
See, you know what? Never knew the rest of them.
I looked at this picture for a minute the other day, and they just look kind of strange, all these guys. But I love some of their songs.
Absolutely. I agree.
Payphone, one of my favorites.
I forget which one is Payphone.
It's the one with Wiz Khalifa. I'm on a payphone. All of the change I spent on you. I think that's the word.
Oh, it's my change I spent on you.
Payphone,
looking to go home. Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, they got some good ones. Their early ones was great. Like the window outside your door, whatever. Good.
And
Adam Levine's the bull, so to speak.
These guys engage my my neurodivergency. Like I listened to this song about 10 times yesterday.
Okay.
I'm not a listen to, many songs kind of guy. When I'm in a mood, I just put the song on and repeat. It would drive you insane, guys.
Just again and again.
Like if we're on a car trip, I'm the guy that just wants to listen to the same song on repeat for an hour.
We got a 4-hour drive. We're gonna listen to 3 songs.
You don't put "Happy" by Pharrell Williams on repeat.
Oh yeah, that's
that
be a good horror film thing.
Yeah, that kind of feels like what they probably play that song in hell over and over. But anyway, guys, so the entourage effect, let's just use this example. So you got, Maroon 5's on stage. Now, Adam Levine by himself, he'd be okay, but a cappella, it's not interesting. You just got one guy singing, right?
Right. He's the main dude, sure.
But THC is the main dude. He's the main guy. Right. So in this example, THC, Adam Levine is your lead singer, right? So he does the directing. He takes the main steps towards, you know, what kind of high you're going to get. And this could be and this will usually be like a percentage, right?
Well, he handles the press conferences. He deals with the most amount of groupies, clapping cheeks, whatever it is.
He's married, okay?
Well, yes, but he's a known Jewish guy, which is not a great look for us, but Jewish guy, known philanderer. Not I don't want to be like in a negative way.
I told you this,
Mark. He did tell.
He DM'd you? Okay.
So not me. God, no.
Are you guys trying to say that I didn't pick somebody that wasn't involved in some kind of malfeasance? Okay.
He's only human.
Wow.
Yeah.
We don't like him anymore, guys. Anyway, so lead singer, THC. Then you got the accompaniment, right? You got the main one, which would be the other cannabinoids, whether it's CBD, CBG, that is represented by Wiz Khalifa here, right? Because he's got a small verse in the payphone
in this song, right? Okay, as looking at this song.
So these two guys, you know, they are the main kind of. They're going to take the most effect on your high here, the THC and the CBD ratio, the different ones as well, because remember, there are several THC molecules, there are several CBD molecules, there's also other ones like CBG, CBN. So those ratios between the two kind of inform the biggest part of your high or your experience. Then you got the terpenes, which are represented by my my little piano and my guitar here.
Clip art? No.
Well, it is clip art. But yeah, so this would be the music accompaniment to the vocals, right? And all together,
that much better, right?
All together, and then you got the other cannabinoids we talked about on the right here. But
kind of round out your sound.
The full thing here would represent exactly how the song would sound to you, right? So if you translate that, this is how your high feels based on these factors, and that is the entourage effect. And by understanding information or characteristics of each one, you can get a much better idea of how your high is going to go, okay? So that was a terrible example, but
no, it was pretty cool. It's good. I could tell you went on a payphone. You had a payphone playing in the background the whole time.
Yeah, you're getting me. You're getting me now. So, guys, now I wanted to use their website as kind of a way to get through the SC Labs Phytofacts here. So let me share my screen.
I love this Phytofacts thing, man. I really do. It's like it puts. Well, we haven't shown them yet, so let me.
No, dude, you can talk.
It's pretty cool. It's like a really detailed breakdown, but it's like shown in graphs and colors. You know, we love colors and graphs, things that are easily understood.
Yeah.
All
right, present, share screen. Here we go. I had to figure that out for a second.
Boomer moment.
Yes, there was a small boomer moment. So we're going to play a quick video just to kind of get a little further along here. This is it's like 3 or 4 minutes, guys, but it's going to help you answer these questions real quick. So I'm just going to play this.
We'll be right here with you watching, commenting, and wondering.
Go full screen.
Full screen.
SC Labs Chemometric Report is designed to provide intuitive data visualizations and insights for the chemometric characterization of cannabis. This revolutionary report is available to our clients when testing cannabis flowers or concentrate for both cannabinoids and terpenoids. In it, you'll find a complete chemical profile of the sample, enabling patients, consumers, and those in the supply chain to predict a broad range of effects. The topmost section shows the cannabis product name, and the color-coded bars reflect the top 3 terpenes present within the particular cannabis sample.
Great strain.
These intuitively colored bars help patients and buyers feel the effect just by looking at the Phytofacts report. While warm colors represent more energizing effects, the cool colors represent cannabis products with more calming effects. Within the general section, the class designation on top right is assigned to each cannabis product based on the terpene and cannabinoid profile each product consists of.
Like a trading card.
It's
The
literally
bar graph
like a
displays a
Pokemon
percentage
card.
of cannabinoids,
Strengths, weaknesses,
terpenes,
points.
and moisture content found within the particular
Gotta catch them
cannabis
all
sample.
now. There's no
And if
other
you want
solution.
even
Gotta
more
catch 'em all.
information,
Sorry.
you can
It's a
scan the
lot of
QR
weed.
code next to the class designation for the complete test results from SC Lab.
Hell yeah.
This information enables robust tracking and classification of cannabis medicine, from seed to the patient or buyer. In the cannabinoid section, the cannabidiol displays the ratio of the top 2 cannabinoids found within the sample.
Wow.
Generally, the top 2 cannabinoids are the main drivers of the product's pharmacology. The cannabinoid table shows all of the cannabinoids detected within the sample with a minimum level of 0.05%. A photo of the cannabis product is also included in this section to provide a visual reference to morphology of fresh cannabis flowers.
You get the visual too.
The old websites,
this also ensures that patients and consumers can visually identify the product tested with the product on the shelf.
Very cool.
In the aroma and flavor section, the organoleptic profile appears next. It showcases the flavor and aromatic characteristics of the product based on the terpenes detected. The superposition of all the characteristics is shown on the radar chart, while the top 2 terpene characteristics are displayed as pictures for easy identification. The color pie chart displays the relative entourage effects,
now this is really
which
cool,
are the
guys.
subtle effects superimposed upon the cannabinoid pharmacology by the terpenoids present. These entourage effects can vary depending on the dose, the individual, and the time after administration. In the terpenoid section, the colorful bar graph illustrates the difference between content within the product with a minimum level of 0.01%.
And we're talking decibel
Again,
places.
the top 3 terpenes are reflected in the color-coded bars at the top of the report. Since research into the use of cannabis medicine continually advances, these living documents help everyone through the supply chain, including cultivators, manufacturers, distributors, physicians, patients, retailers, and consumers alike. This data visualization solution is engineered to work in parallel with existing SC Labs reporting systems. Along with our advanced certificate of analysis reporting solution, the chemometric strain categorizations are now at your fingertips as soon as your results are ready. Make sure to keep abreast of the latest understanding of cannabis constituents. And thank you for learning more about SC Labs Chemometric Report.
All right, guys. So now you got a little bit better idea of what we're talking about here. So as you can see, having this kind of data on a strain makes it much easier to make decisions. It also has many benefits beyond just helping the consumer, right? You can use this to decide what you're going to grow. If you're a cannabis farmer or a manufacturer, you can, make a full line of products, but hit different types of effects with each product. And by having this report, you can fill it out. So this system that SC Labs has developed is far reaching beyond just kind of, consumers making a decision. Right?
I love this. This idea has been around, like that website where you used to Google the name and it would show you a picture of the bud. You know what I mean?
It's not a leaf fly.
Yeah. And there was a number of not arrowweed. That's for like other stuff, but ones like that. And it's just the guy just named it whatever he wanted, triple kush or super cheese or some shit. And then.
Well, here's the thing, like say you have 2 different cannabis markets, right? Let's say you got a New Jersey cannabis market and just Michigan, for example.
Okay.
You could have a situation where Blue Dream, as we'll just use as our base strain, the Blue Dream they're using in New Jersey, right, could be completely different from the Blue Dream this other company is using in Michigan, right? So in order to say, okay, this is Blue Dream, this guy, you'd have to look at the report, right? If you look at the chemometric report, and you would probably see a large difference between the two. This because these are 2 different strains, right? Yeah. Cannabis has been crossed and hybridized so many times that it is rare that you find a strain in its original form, right? There are these strains that are ubiquitous with cannabis: OG Kush, Blue Dream, Gelato, Haze, right? Some of those are hybrids, but some of those are original strains. Some of the first things that people were growing to use cannabis. So those are older strains, right? And it usually denotes something that was picked from the wild, right? Or grown in the wild. They call them land races.
Land race. I love
Right,
that. Yeah.
right. A land race is a wild form of cannabis that has not been manipulated in any way to, create other genetic profiles. So, the only way you can really determine if your blue dream is the original blue dream is by getting a report on the wild grown blue dream. I'm not
if
sure
that information's even
right,
really available,
even if
right?
it's out there, because I'd have to look at blue dream to see if it's a land race. It might not be, but let's just say it is a land race.
Okay.
And if you wanted to say, hey, is my blue dream the blue dream, you'd have to look at the report, compare it to what you got, and then you can see there. So using this data-driven kind of categorization method just lends itself to some real data-driven decisions. So
Awesome.
let's take a look at one of these reports, and we'll go through it because they actually have a really cool little example here.
Now, while we're pulling, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So for example, say our blue dream in New Jersey is one, and blue dream in Michigan is another.
Mhm.
Now, it's just a name, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If, say, a company in Jersey makes Blue Dream and another company makes Blue Dream in Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
can you do that? Is that like a thing where, like, you can make your own one as your own company?
Yeah.
Right? It's not like New Jersey has Blue Dream and that's what it is.
Right. It's not like champagne or something where it has to have certain conditions to be called anything.
Okay.
The naming of different strains is totally up to the grower.
Right.
And
so it's really more about the company that it comes from.
Yeah. Whether that person, knows about these things, or are they just throwing out names for stuff?
And it's their blue dream. Even if they throw names, it's their blue dream that they made, and then you have that as a basis for comparison. So,
So that's exactly what I mean when I say that you can't take one state's particular strain and say that another state's strain is the same.
Gotcha.
Unless you do the work of getting the data, you're just guessing.
This is so cool. It's like Pokemon cards or Crazy Bones all over again, man.
And
I'm gonna be in grade school and be trading them.
What's crazy? I just watched a video about the kiwis in New Zealand, and they have
the kiwis, the fruit.
Yeah, the kiwis, the fruit. Like there's yellow, red, and green, and the yellow ones right now are super popular for some reason. I think because they're sweeter, but there's only like a certain amount of countries that they're allowed to export to, and you need to buy a license to grow the specific strain.
Oh wow! Oh, they own the genetic profile of the kiwi seed.
Well, they're trying to protect it because if you let that plant out or whatever, and somebody else gets a hold of it, they can take it and they can manipulate it and make it grow faster, make it grow a little bit more robust.
Make it have like seeds, make it anything.
Right.
And human eyes.
Yes. And it's basically genetic modification.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about here. And there are companies out there that basically take the plants that our food comes from and manipulate it so it grows easier. Right. So
resistant to bugs, weather, whatever.
Yes. And that kind of genetic manipulation is actually all over our world. It doesn't have to be these giant companies like Monsanto or something.
Like corn or the McDonald's potatoes or special ones.
They
don't rot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They've made choices genetically to make that whatever plant grow in more favorable conditions. So this practice exists in anything that has to do with growing food, right? You got flowers, stuff we eat. You got
watermelons with the seedless versus the not, and
you got stuff that we make medicines from, right? There's genetic modification all over the things that we use on a daily basis. So it doesn't have to be a bad thing, especially in cannabis. It's you're not like trying to hurt anybody by making some crazy weed that grows in 2 weeks. You're just messing with genetics, right? And it's one of my favorite parts of cannabis is the genetic level, which is why I love our little trading cards here so much.
Absolutely. Well, I traded my holographic OG Kush for for the first edition Purple Haze, and I got ripped off, man. I got ripped
really want to trade the cards. I can tell you want to collect these things.
I got a Japanese edition Poliwag, and I tried it. No, sorry.
But think about it. You could have like a seed bank or a strain bank, right? And you can collect as many different strains, and by using these reports, you can start a library.
You could put them on a beautiful glass shelf with the report showing, like,
you
this
totally
is what I'm
could.
envisioning. Yeah.
You totally could. And somebody will do this eventually. They'll make a library of strains that they've collated. And, you know, you could have hundreds or thousands of different genetic profiles.
Yeah.
Right. So
infinite. Yeah.
It's
technically not it. Well, it is.
It's technically infinite.
Bigger than it's
because you could
Googleplex.
Cross a cross with a cross, and you could do this forever. Right.
Someone's probably already done it.
Yeah, well, there are seed banks, like the companies that handle a lot of the genetics. Like there's one in the UK called Royal Queen Seeds, right? They have one of the world's largest seed banks, right? And you can order from these guys online because it's legal to ship seeds.
Yeah, even back in the day, I know we talked about this at the High Times. You used to be able to buy seeds from Canada, British Columbia with the good seeds, UK.
You can still do that. It only becomes a problem when you have 13 of them. But you know, growing 1 or 2 plants.
What do you mean 13? Oh, that's the level.
13 plants.
Okay, is the cutoff?
Well, it's not. I made that up completely. But 1 plant versus a room of plants.
Yes.
Right. There's different levels of legality. But my point is that everybody has access to these strains. You just have to buy them online. There are certain companies that are better than others, but it's just an example of collation that this industry is starting to use a lot. So let's go back to and read our baseball cards here. Share my screen. There we go. Okay. So let's start at the top. Good place to start. So right here, the color bars depict the top 3 terpenes in order of weight percent designed for terpene recognition, can be used to group similar cultivars. So what they're saying here is these 3 colors at the top, yellow, blue, and purple, they correspond to our terpenes down at the bottom, limonene, carpholine, linalool, which are 3 very prevalent ones. So based on this, now, if you wanted to say this was your favorite strain here, Sunday Driver, right? Now you can look at other cards, and if you can find this combination, yellow, blue, and purple, you can be relatively sure that this strain will have some similarities with another strain.
In terms of effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the color coding is awesome because it just gives you a visual, quick way without having to read to make these decisions. I really like the color coding.
Cool. And it's a rock solid way, or it's a way that's real and not like it used to be where you're just guessing. It used to be totally guessing. That's what this is like, the revelation. I'm like, no, we were guessing in the dark.
Yeah. Well, and you know, this kind of testing is not cheap, guys. So the companies that use this stuff, you can, you know, kind of be sure that they care about these things. And there's a couple that I know of that I am really excited to kind of talk about in the future here, because this is a disruptor here, right? This is, I like industry things, but I like companies that disrupt the industry, you know, change things.
Disruptor.
And, you know, somebody using this is a disruptor, because, you know, we've been smoking weed for a while as a country, and all we've had up until very recently, it's sativa indica hybrid, right?
Right.
So something like this will change the game.
Yes, sir.
And the more people use it. So let's move to the next one, which is this the chart here, these bars, cannabinoids, terpenes, moisture. What do we got here? This chart shows total cannabinoid, terpenoid, and moisture content, offering a ratio indicator, scales fixed at 33% and 20%. So what that means is these scales here, let's just take cannabinoids, it's a maximum of 30%. Okay, so in terms of the percentage of cannabinoids in Sunday Driver here, it's 26.13, and very rarely does that number reach over 30%, right?
Okay.
I always get suspicious when I start seeing cannabinoid contents over 30% because it's not normal.
Now, that's not the THC content, that's cannabinoid content.
Well, it's part of it,
okay.
right? THC is a cannabinoid. Right. So,
because you know 30 is that number, like, oh, wow, 30%. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would be, THCA, CBG, THC. These are the things that make up cannabinoids.
Gotcha.
So inside of that, right, if we go down to the next chart here, it breaks the cannabinoids out. So
still in black and then gray and lighter. Okay, cool.
So THCA, CBGA, THC. So these are the cannabinoids. And as we can see, THCA is at 24.2%.
That's the number people would usually look at. Okay, this is a 24%er. Okay.
Yeah. And THCA, guys, if you're not familiar with that particular molecule, is a precursor to THC, right? It's the main molecule that's responsible for getting you high. But in this form, THCA, it is not very psychoactive, right? If you were to just eat this nug, for example,
right, pour milk over it, eat with a spoon like cereal,
you're not getting high, right? And that's because there has to be a chemical process applied to that THCA to turn it into THC.
To burn that A off. Yep.
Right. Burn that, and that's a good example of it. You apply heat.
Yep.
Right. And once you put a flame to this or whatever, that THCA turns into THC, and now we're getting high. Okay. So that is just a little nugget on the molecules here. That THCA is what becomes THC after you apply the heat, right? And so this cannabinoid section is going to give us the top 6 cannabinoids found in the sample, and they're the table with a minimum value of 0.05. So anything under 0.05 won't be represented on here.
And that's 0.05%. So keep in mind that's very, very little.
That's very low. That's very low. And that's, that's the other THCs, THCP, CBG, all these other molecules are what's at the bottom of this chart below CBD.
That's fair enough. You know what I mean? Like, give me the top view. I don't need to be digging into 0.0003%.
Exactly. And then right here, guys, the this little dial here, this is the ratio of the top 2 cannabinoids. So by using this, right, CBGA and THCA, you can kind of get an idea of the pharmacology, because these 2 top molecules are the ones that will be the dominant effect, right? And let's just reach it. The dial shows the ratio of the top 2 cannabinoids, easily identified type 1, 2, and 3 cultivars. Dominant cannabinoid drives pharmacology. Important. Runner-up modulates it, right? So THCA right here is going to drive the pharmacology, which is the main set of effects you're going to get, right? And then the CBGA modulates it. And that could be how high you get or how high you don't get.
Okay.
Right.
It's the whole song and Adam Levine, and then featuring Wiz Khalifa.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. I didn't even think about that. And for instance, why would you want a CBG or CBD molecule that is at a high percentage? Like, so if you've ever gotten too high, right? And let me just go off the screen here. If you have ever gotten too high, guys, and you just been blasted and you didn't know what to do, and you're in that God help me situation, it's known that CBD can actually modulate that high. So it could actually bring you down if you were to take a good enough dose of it, right? So if you're ever too high and you have some CBD tincture or something, the CBD can cut the strength of that high. And that's what it meant by modulate, right? That's what it means by modulating the dominant molecule, right? So that is just a little tidbit. If you've ever run into that situation, CBD can help you out. So you got a QR code here. Awesome. So when you go to the dispensary and, you're looking at a chart or something, it'll likely have this QR code there. So if you were to go click on that QR code, it'd bring up Phytofacts here, and then you could start making a more informed decision. So if this is how it will likely look on, the package, it'll be this QR code. And once you, know how to read the Phytofacts, this QR code just brings you right to it. So it's an excellent way of getting to this data quick when you're, in line at the dispensary. Next here, so obviously this part is just kind of classifying what it is, the dates collected, the name of the business, license number, sample type, all that good stuff.
Legitimization stuff. Cool.
And this is interesting here. Class is a 5-character code given to the sample that provides insight into terpene and cannabinoid makeup. The first 3 letters denote the most relevant terpenes in order. The next digit signifies chemotype, which implies the dominant cannabinoid. The final letter represents the second most dominant cannabinoid. So this, which is just interesting as well, is also a classification, right? Yeah. You can use these letters and one number to quickly determine what is
just like the bars at the top. Yeah, okay.
So this one is going to give you a little bit more data, but this is something you'd have to, study up on, because at a glance, you've got no idea what this is. But if you use the key they're giving you here, this little collection of characters,
it's their own data. They're making it. I guess it's their own nomenclature.
Well, they can use this to, generate even more data, right? Awesome. So it's all about just giving you a lot of data points. All right, so we've gone through these first 2 sections here. This is cool. You'll
love the image of the nugget.
Yeah, this looks like Reggie. I'm just kidding.
Nah,
but looks a little loose.
Yeah.
So next here we got the aroma and flavor, right? And
this is awesome.
Yeah, this is really cool. And you've probably had, over my weed life, I've had something in each one of these little sections.
You
right?
Camphor? No, that's the weirdest word.
What is camphor?
Tropical, sweet, fruity camphor.
No, it sounds
or is
like
it camphor? No, I'm just kidding. Camphor. It's camphor. Camphor is like the alpine stuff, like if you have, I don't know what, it's in Vicks Vapor Rub and stuff, right? Akira's got a...
Camphor is a white waxy substance with a strong odor that has many uses: medicine, insect repellent, flavoring, plasticizer.
Oh, insect repellent.
Religious ceremonies.
Yeah.
There
you go. I know I'd seen that in the Bible. Just kidding. So guys, this is what they call organoleptic data, right? Whoa. And organoleptic refers just to the senses. Right. It just refers to your sense of smell, your sense of taste. Yeah. That's what this refers to here. So every strain will have organoleptic data. Right. And if you like the sweet smelling weed, you like fruity, floral, by using this chart here, you can now see what this kind of will taste like. Right.
So cool. Piney.
Yeah. It's got a fruity kind of citrusy taste and smell to it, right?
Seems pretty good so far.
Yeah. But this data right here just makes it even easier for you to get the kind of sense profile that you want. Yeah. Like, some people like that kind of floral bud where it smells very bright and
light and it's hard to describe, like spring.
Yeah, well, stuff like lavender or something like that, right? That some people like those type of strains, and those would be floral strains. Yeah. But there's not much to be said, but the top 2 traits of every strain will be in these little pictures here: lemons and berries.
It shows you how much.
Cool. It shows you the percentage. So
I like a good citrusy, or I love a piney. For some reason, piney is catching my eye. Piney and earthy.
Yeah.
Spicy, I'd be interested to see what.
Yeah, I don't know about the spicy. I don't think I've ever tried a spicy strain. But, remember, guys, we talked about in the beginning myrcene being the dominant terpene in the cannabis market. Yeah. What that means is there's a lot of room for, different strains here, because when 40% of strains in the country have myrcene, that means there's a list of 9 other terpenes that can be produced, experimented with, and tried. So there is a lot more varying effects and different states of being that marijuana can take us to, right? We're only at the beginning of this, and because these strains are the ones that the industry knows how to grow. They're the most prevalent, but that means there's a lot of room for improvement in every cannabis market.
Yeah.
And as a cannabis market matures, you'll start to see these different products get out here. That's why it's so important that we get this legalized and we get this normalized so that we can reach the full potential of cannabis, which, as you can see from this chart, is so varied and full of potential.
Yeah.
Right now, the entourage effects, which is pretty much my favorite part of these charts here. Right, this is going to give you the dominant effects of what you're going to experience here
in terms of feeling
Yeah.
afterward, right?
Yes.
Experience, the effects. Yeah,
Yes,
cool,
this
cool.
is where you're gonna get the main, what am I going to get from this high or from this cannabis product, or how am I going to feel? And these colors here correspond to the terpenes on the bottom. All right, so limonene or limonene being the most predominant terpene here. If you go to the chart, inspiration. Right.
Nice.
So that is going to be on the focus, energy, inspiration part of the chart. So that means that, when you walk into a dispensary and you now know this chart here, if you have a company that, you can scan the QR code, it brings this up. You now know that yellow is what you want if you're trying to be creative and, get some work done, right? This is what you want to go. And if we scroll back up, what's the first color? Yellow. So this color bar at the top, these three color bars kind of correspond to our little bullseye chart on the bottom here. Let's look at some of the other main effects. You got comfort, relaxation, calm, focus, energy, inspiration. So once you've taken this chart and the colors and the variable effects into kind of your lexicon, you can now use this to quickly identify products that you want to try, right?
Nice.
For me, I'm usually on the inspiration, energy, focus side.
Same.
Right? That's usually the kind of flower that or cannabis products that I prefer. I only use the relaxation, comfort, and calm stuff when I'm trying to sleep or something, right? I have ADHD, guys. We've talked about this before, and certain terpene profiles and certain cannabinoids have varying effects on me. But one of them that I don't really like is this relaxation, comfort, calm side of the chart. Like if I smoke during the day or use a product during the day while I'm on my meds, using strains on this side of the chart really kind of cut the effectiveness of my meds.
Okay.
Right. So what I'm saying is that if you're on any kind of med, right, you can now have a slightly better option of choosing strains that won't interact with your meds or whatever your particular issue is, right? So for me, I would avoid, the left side of this this chart during the day, for example. Right?
What it used to be, you would just buy whatever he or she has got,
right?
And then you get what you get.
A weed or B weed,
right?
Right. It's historically, if you're on the black market, most of us didn't have a choice of all these different strains. You had what your dealer had at the time, right? So now, I can go into a dispensary and make a much better informed choice on what I want. And I want to read this. An algorithm converts terpenoid and cannabinoid data into suggested effects based synergistic action within the endocannabinoid system. Now, what does that mean? So that means that based on the profile generated, they plugged this data into an out and it spit out this chart here, right? This is not made by somebody sitting there and saying, okay, I feel inspired, I have a little bit of energy. This is not how this chart is made. This chart is made by data, and data-driven decisions based on cannabis are what we're talking about here. That is the main thing, that is the point of all of this: data-driven decisions on cannabis, whether it's growing, using, you know, you can even get to a point where, say, you're, making a new strain for the cannabis cup or something, right? You can use these reports to decide what your entry is going to be into that contest this year, right? So the use goes far beyond just, what am I going to smoke today?
Right.
Which is important. So
really cool.
So that's pretty much it, guys, for Phytofacts. Now we're going to get deeper into this, right? Well, this is interesting. Hold on. While SC Labs quantifies 39 terpenoids, the Phytofacts presents the 17 most commonly occurring. Bar color and length allow rapid identification of possible patterns between similar or dissimilar strains. That's important. So they take the top 17, it looks like, and they have used those color codes to do it. So this is just, more evidence of this data allowing you to make quick decisions.
Yep.
All right. So, SC Labs, Phytofacts, what are we going to do with this? So there are some companies that I'm paying attention to that are going to come out with this. Actually, I have some connections where we might be able to talk to somebody at SC Labs soon. This this chart here is important, guys. And I remember I'm an amateur, right? I am not a what we would call a professional lab assistant or guy, right? I can topically explain these things. So I think it'll be important for us to get somebody that is a little bit more knowledgeable to kind of inform what we've talked about here, because based on what we just talked about, you could probably do a pretty good job in using the Phytofacts chart, but there is always room for improvement. Yeah. So
that would be awesome. That would be so cool.
Oh, we'll get there. I know I've been saying we're going to have guests on for the entire show.
Yeah, well, we're only 11 in.
We're only 11 in, but I wanted to get comfortable doing this before we started adding people to the show. Absolutely. I wanted us to get our rapport. So it's going to happen, guys. But all right, we're going to close the show with some current events. I love current events. And I think last episode I mentioned that on September 12th, Governor Murphy here in New Jersey, he signed Bill 3235 into law, right? And that bill basically restricts the sale of hemp-derived products or hemp analogs, which are all these Delta-8, THCA, THCP, that you see in smoke shops like my own. So now that this stuff is restricted, it doesn't mean it's illegal. It just depends who's selling it. All right. So they've put this the regulation for these products under the CRC, and the CRC is the governing body for cannabis in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I think it's a 6-member council. They approve all of the applications. They write the rules.
Are they politicians?
They are lawyers. They are cannabis enthusiasts, and there are some more political people. I think they just installed a new head of the CRC. Mm-hmm. The CRC is it's a necessary entity. I prefer that there was no regulation at all, but you do want people to use a safe product. So the CRC is there for a couple reasons: making sure the product's safe, and then making sure that the regulations that the state has put forth are followed.
Yeah.
Right.
I just looked up the members, and 2 of them have weed shirts, or one has a weed shirt, one has a weed pin. So that's silly.
that's what you want. Listen, that's what you want, guys. You don't want people that don't know about the cannabis industry making decisions about the cannabis industry.
Right. And writing laws about it, detailed,
right,
impactful laws.
You want enthusiasts and people that are for this. to kind of be running things,
or at least have a seat at the table there,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah, because there are some laws and some part of the New Jersey cannabis regulation that I think are dumb, and one of them would be the maximum level of THC in any given edible.
Okay. Oh, right. That's why they only sell little 100 milligram packs.
Yes.
What's it called?
The maximum percent, or not percentage, but the maximum milligram for any edible THC product in New Jersey is 100 milligrams. Okay.
Which ain't that much, really.
It's not. Yeah. It's not that much. For heavy users, that is a pretty small amount. And it makes it so that if you want to buy a lot of edible THC products, you got to spend a lot of goddamn money.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're literally paying for 10 milligram increments. So, a lot of these products will have 5 or like 25 milligram gummies or whatever it is, right, which is good for a microdose situation. But for somebody like me, it becomes cost prohibitive. Yeah. You're taking a whole pack of something. And, who wants to eat 20 gummies
right.
to get medicated, right? So one of my main issues with the CRC is that law itself. That needs to go. But the reason we're even talking about the CRC is they now are the regulators of the THC analog market, all these hemp THC products. Right. And there is one caveat: the hemp drink market, which is you're starting to see a lot of hemp drinks in liquor stores and different places. And these drinks have the same effects as any other THC product, but because they are beverages, they're regulated a little differently. And this difference has left a hole for a lawsuit. Okay. In any state where there's a very large market, for instance, the hemp THC market, when you make a law like this, there's always pushback, right? And the pushback,
that's big money too. People are making money selling these Delta 8 things.
Yeah. Well, let's just say the industry, shops like mine, other hemp businesses, they've launched a lawsuit because the wording is kind of weird in the law, and it leaves room for interpretation, which is not what you want when you've written the law. But it unfairly limits access to these products, and it could lead to job loss. It could lead to criminalization. The reason the hemp THC market is here is because of bad policy. Okay, any state that does not have a legal cannabis market has these hemp THC products.
Right. It's like the K2 idea. Like you want that legal weed that replicate that same experience. Yeah.
And remember the 2018 Farm Bill, which you talked about before, it opened the door to these hemp THC products. Now, when they signed that bill in Congress, they had no idea how much THC could be derived from hemp products. They're starting to pick up on that. But because of that, this market has grown up in the country, and it is a $1 million, probably $1 billion market at this point. And there's a lot of jobs and investment tied into this now. So as they go across the state and states and try and regulate this stuff, they have to be careful because they're upsetting people's jobs and people's income, right? And I think that there should be a law about this, but it should be less restrictive and give businesses like my own a path to selling these products legally, right? I think just leaving it to the dispensaries, which is what they've done. They've said only dispensaries can use this market. It's picking winners.
Right. Exactly. And it's at 7-Elevens. It's at every gas station. It's at every, you know what I mean? It's beyond that at this point.
What I think they should have done is set a standard for kind of, a limit on the THC maybe, but also set some manufacturing standards where, we know there's no other products in here that are harmful.
Right.
They should have just made it so that the product is safer and still allowed shops like mine to sell it. But that's not what they've done. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes here.
We'll see where this goes. If you ask me, the money always wins, right? The lobbyists always win. And that means whoever has the most money wins. Mm-hmm. And in this case, that is going to be companies like Curaleaf and all these large companies that can pay to move the needle on these things. So we'll see what happens on that, guys.
We'll monitor and report.
Yeah. And then one last thing. We're already over an hour. Okay, one last thing. So this year, New Jersey had its first legal cannabis cup.
Wow.
First legal cannabis cup. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. First legal cannabis cup. And let me share my screen for one more second here before we close out.
Cannabis cup.
Yeah. I've been a fan of cannabis events because I always meet so many interesting people there. It's my favorite part of, the social part of our industry because, man, I've walked out pretty high from some of these events. And a lot of them used to be in Vegas a lot, but they're starting to proliferate around the country here. Guys, this is HeadyNJ.com. It is a very informative website for cannabis news in New Jersey. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is there's a company called Garden Greens that swept the entire cup.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've heard of Garden Greens, actually. I think I follow them on Instagram, yeah.
Yeah. They won every category of flower. So something's got to be going on with this, guys.
Yeah.
Garden Greens got something special.
Is that a dispensary? That's a dispensary. Or
no, this is a grow op.
Okay.
Or not a grow. Yes, this is a grow op.
Just because you can buy the Garden Greens jar.
Yes.
In the dispensary.
Yes. Right? So these are manufacturers, basically.
Diamond dust and all that.
So, but there's some other companies in here. Full Tilt, which I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah,
they didn't win. They placed. Garden Greens placed, but in Best Indica Flowers, run by Full Tilt Labs.
Nice.
And then you've got some more companies here. Timeless Vapes, right? Hillview Farms, non-infused pre-rolls. But this is the sign of a growing industry, dudes. This is the sign that it is coming of age.
Look at this piece. Bobby Nuggs said that 16 brands competed and some had just finished their harvest. According to Bobby Nuggs, 16. No.
I like Bobby Nuggs.
Bobby Nuggs.
I'm Marky Nuggs. I like that. I think I'm changing my name, Marky Nuggs. Huh. But guys, attend these events.
This is really cool. I would like to attend more.
Yeah. No, well, there's several of consumer, like before it was a business to business thing, but there's a lot of these events stopping. Go to them.
This had passed, or this is okay. This did pass. It was September.
Yeah, this was a couple weeks ago.
Dang.
But my point is, go to these events, guys. You will learn a lot. You will meet a lot of people from the industry at them. It is a great way to expand your knowledge about cannabis and try new products. Guys, we're at the end of our show for today. Thank you for making it this far.
Yes.
I hope that Phytofacts is something that you are interested in because it's going to make you a smarter consumer. So down in the comments, if you have any questions or comments, please put them down there. We will be back very soon with our next episode. Yep. Alex, how's comedy going, buddy?
Comedy's going good. I not have taken a break, but I've been getting settled at my new job. You know what I mean? So I've only been out a couple times. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but now that I'm getting used to it, I'm going to be back out a lot more. It's good. I got one coming up in October, the Comedy World Clash. And they got me representing the United States. Everyone else has their heritage countries, but mine's the U.S. because he didn't know. I was like, at least put Italy or something, man. But it is what it is. I'm looking forward to it. Everyone's got
You're just a regular white man. You're representing America.
USA. Yeah, that's it. He was like, U.S. Okay.
I love it.
I was born here. I was.
You were.
I'm American. I am.
Well, you're about as American as me.
Yeah.
Although I'm 88% Nigerian now. So. I don't know what that means. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Like, share, subscribe. Please tell the world about us.
Cool, man. Let us know what you think.
We love you guys.
Love you.
Peace out.